Summer on the frozen continent, the last great wilderness on the planet. For decades, many have ventured here. Explorers, whalers, scientists seeking fortune, knowledge and wonderment. Names such as Scott, Amundsen, Mawson, Shackleton are seared in its history. But many others have fallen, their dreams signposted only by crumbling monuments to their former glories. One such former settlement is the abandoned whaling station at Deception Island off the Antarctic Peninsula. It sits on a live volcano and was last deserted in the 60s when the inhabitants of this remote outpost were overcome by the last mighty eruption. For much of the year, this expanse is one of the most inhospitable places known to humanity. It seems to be a place where life cannot thrive. But looks can be deceiving. On the edges of the Antarctic polar desert, the annual return of summer's relative warmth and light brings rebirth. The annual Antarctic ice melt has got to be one of the most underappreciated natural phenomena on the planet, partly because of how remote this place is. I'm on the Antarctic Peninsula, which is roughly south of the Americas, after a bitterly cold winter of seasonal snowfalls, metres and metres deep. The sun is up. In fact, it never really goes down at this time of year, and the temperature is up towards zero. The water that froze over the winter and the snow that fell is starting to melt, as it does every year. This is the season when these creatures of the cold come to make a fresh start, feed, and to nurture their young. All day, even in these early hours of the morning, gentoo penguins in their thousands venture up and down their highways. Millions of them laying their eggs, devotedly guarding them from the elements and birds of prey such as giant petrels which lurk nearby. Hulking seals lumber onto the beaches in between feeds at ocean depths of 2,000 metres, communing with bare earth uncovered by the melting ice. Billions of krill scurry through the shallows, swimming under and through the meltwater. These tiny creatures sustain giants, the whales which come here to share in the abundance of feed in these waters. But for all the life that abounds here, it's also changing. The seas are warming. It's different to how life has been for millennia. Coverage of sea ice around the continent is variable through the seasons, but warming oceans mean the long-term skirt of ice shelves around Antarctica are not reforming like they used to. It's causing ice shelves to fracture and break away, and it's displacing critical links in the food chain, pushing food sources, fish, squid, krill, into deeper water or further away, sometimes too far. For some of these creatures, adaptability is easy. For others, it means longer journeys to find a meal at sea, sometimes far from land, their colonies and offspring. Some of those which go to sea will not make it back in time to feed their young. Life on the Antarctic coast goes on, but even far from the gaze of humanity, it's not untouched.